All right. Well, good morning, Rotary District 7770. Welcome to Conversations with Rotary Action People for Friday, January 22nd. My name is Donald Hovis, your CWRAP host, and I'm from the Chicora Rotary Club in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Today on our CWRAP program is all going to be talking about Rotary Ready. We have two special guests joining us that will be our speakers today. District Governor from District 7770, Pauline Levesque, and also District Governor from 7750 in the upstate of South Carolina, Beth Padgett. Very important housekeeping items before we begin. Your line should be muted at this point. If you're not on mute, please remain muted through the program. If you have a question, post that in the chat box. Pauline and Beth, I will monitor the chat box and I will call those questions out to you once you're done doing your presentations. Please, folks, stay on mute. Thank you. At this time, I'll turn it over to District Governor Pauline Levesque.
Hi, everyone. I think you can see me. All right. So I'm going to turn this way, and we're live here at the vaccination site in Mount Pleasant. The team, it's our first pilot. It's been going well, but I'm going to turn it over to Bill Cannon right now, who's chairman of this event, to just share his impressions of our first few hours here. Bill?
My impressions are that it's wet outside today in Charleston, Mount Pleasant. I am at Seacoast Church. Behind me is the site, and I might just flip my phone around. That might be if I can figure out how to do that real quick. Well, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'll just turn around. That's the line of people trying to get in. We're vaccinating 4,000 people today, and all of the volunteers, which are Rotarians or volunteers that were recruited by Rotarians, are here today, and they all got the vaccine as part of doing this. So that's part of the deal that we have here with MUSC, Roper, and the hospital system that's putting this on. Every volunteer gets a vaccine. So pretty big hook, and what we're doing is we've committed.
Bill and Pauline, just a heads up, having a little internet issues with your audio. You're currently frozen at this time, Bill.
All right, so yeah, it's pouring rain. It has been since we started to arrive.
Volunteers throughout the entire state. And so we're rolling out this program. This is our pilot, and we're learning a lot. And off then.
Thanks, Bill. I think you're freezing up, but they get the gist of it.
Still frozen.
Yeah, you're just coming out of it.
No big deal.
All right. I think you covered the high points. I'll just talk. I had intended to walk you through some of the areas, and one of the requirements of participating at this event is social media cannot include any vehicles that are coming through for the vaccine. It's a HIPAA regulation. And so we have some empty booths, and I'm going to try and show you the setup, as long as I don't get any cars in it, if I can, so you can get a feel for what's happening. Let me just see if I can do that here. All right, so, oops. So you can see that the line of tents going all the way down the street, it's a two-way road. The right-hand side where you see the tents have double tents. And I'm gonna switch this back so in case somebody drives by, we won't be causing an issue. So yeah, so the tents are all lined up on the right. The larger tent, the cars pull through, and the tent in the back contains the folks that are doing the vaccination and the Rotary volunteers that are assisting. So it's been interesting, and we've been able to manage the flow of cars, and that's another task that the Rotarians are doing. I can't show you that now, but it's a good effort. 3 hospitals coming together to work on this. East Cooper Hospital.
Pauline, hold on one second, Pauline. We have a screen share going on, please. Take that screen share down, please, folks. Looks like Welsh M screen is being shared right now. Mary or Terry, you might have, there you go.
All right, so there's a lot of cars driving through now, so I don't think I'll be able to show you much. Maybe towards the end, if we get a break, I'll be able to show you. But the volunteer roles that everyone's interested in, well, how does it work? So you can see from the shot that volunteers that assist the folks distributing the vaccine are seated behind a table, and they're doing all the prep and cleanup after the injection. There's a number of traffic control, but it's not what you would expect. It's not on a main road. It's just, 2 lanes, and you're responsible for directing to 2 of these pods, what they're called. So you're only responsible for directing in and out 2 of the pods. That's 2 cars at any given time. Rain or shine, any place we go. So I'll wait for more questions, but thanks. Thanks for doing this for us today.
Thank you, Pauline. At this time, I'll turn the program over to District Governor from District 7750, Beth Padgett. Beth, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, and thank you to my classmate and friend Pauline for inviting me to participate this morning. I'm sitting here in a warm, dry, toasty home in Greenville, South Carolina. I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Greenville, and I'm, as you said, District Governor of 7750. We cover the western half of South Carolina. And I am wearing my End Polio Now t-shirt for a very good reason. When you think about Rotary, you think about the great work we do in our own communities, whether it's Charleston or Myrtle Beach or Columbia or Greenville or Lawrence. But when you think about what we do internationally, when you think about our global work, what comes to mind? I see it on some of the screens, our work with polio. Rotarians are known for their global effort, their leadership effort to end polio now and eradicate this, the scourge of this disease from the face of the earth. Our connection with polio, in a way, links with our desire to be part of the vaccination program for COVID-19. One of the founding principles of Rotary, one of the causes that motivates us, one of our areas of focus is disease prevention, disease treatment. When COVID rolled out in mid-March, it affected how we as Rotarians do our work as Rotary. It forced us to look for changes. It also affected our communities. It affected our families. Most of us on this Zoom meeting, unfortunately, know the name of someone who has died from COVID. We've lost an immediate past president last week in our district to COVID. We've been affected by COVID economically. We've known the emotional effect of COVID, and we as Rotarians have a role to play in the treatment and prevention of the coronavirus. And our international president, for both Pauline and myself and all Rotarians, International President Holger Canuck, has challenged Rotarians to take the passion, the experience, the commitment we have to eradicating polio and transfer that and use that to help our communities with the prevention and treatment of the coronavirus. How did Rotarians get interested in the work with polio? It started in 1979 when then International President James Bomar decided to work with the Philippines, where there was an extraordinary outbreak of polio, And he administered the first drops of the vaccine in the Philippines. They had an ambitious goal then, which was to immunize 6 million children and at a cost of about $1 million. They met that goal, met it successfully, and from then on out, Rotarians have been interested in polio eradication. We launched Polio Plus in 1985, and the plus behind polio is where we as Rotarians see a broader connection to disease treatment and prevention. And so throughout the work, throughout these many decades since 1985, Rotarians have led the way to eliminate polio. It started with it being a disease that affected every country, every year, claiming especially children. And what has happened in those decades of work, Rotarians have raised $2.5 billion. We have been a lead partner in international organizations that have banded together and created a coalition of healthcare providers, Rotarians, governmental organizations, and NGOs that are dedicated to eradicating polio. And we have reached almost 3 billion children in this time that we have been focused on polio. Polio virus, coronavirus, two different types of diseases, but the one thing they have in common is that we can, with vaccinations for COVID, we can really eliminate a lot of the damage being done. We can control the disease in our own communities, and we as Rotarians, who most importantly, we are people of action, we can help our communities get back on somewhat normal footing. And so as we look to eradicate polio, and we are still focused very much on that, we are also putting a focus on being part of the effort in our own communities, part of the initiative in our own communities to fight the coronavirus. We're seeing the first case of it, first example of it today in Mount Pleasant with my friends in District 7770, where we are having what I believe is the very first mass vaccination program down there. And we are looking in District 7750. We will start working next week on connecting with our own healthcare providers to be part of the solution to this. What role do Rotarians have to play? I see it as three-pronged. One, we can model good behavior, which was what was asked of Pauline and myself and our other governor classmates, to model good behavior in our districts with social distancing, wearing masks, and promoting good hygiene. We can also help with the education and promotion effort for the vaccination program that is starting to take place in our own communities. And as we see today down in Mount Pleasant, we can be part of the volunteers who have both direct non-contact contact efforts with the initiative and doing things such as answering phones. We already have a request in one of our communities to provide volunteers for answering phones, a hotline, things like that for a vaccination effort. So that's where we are in District 7750, and that's why we as Rotarians are so interested in being part of the solution, part of this initiative to control the coronavirus and make our communities safe again. So thank you, Pauline, for having me, and thank you, Don, for letting me have a chance to speak today.
Yeah, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. We have some questions now in the chat, so I'm going to just call those out, and we'll see where this takes us. So the first question I see is, how many pods are currently in use in Mount Pleasant?
That's 10 pods, 10. And about, I think we're doing a little over 1,000, close to 1,100, something like that. So, yeah. So, yeah, 10 pods.
And then
2 lanes, yeah.
And then I believe in Florence on Monday. Stay off mute, Pauline, because the questions are still coming. I believe in Florence on Monday, there's going to be 20 pods. Am I correct?
That's correct.
All right.
And 1,500 plus vaccines.
Who will be in charge in Florence on Monday?
In terms of the hospital or in terms of Rotary?
From Rotary, yes.
Oh, so in charge, well, Bill Cannon and I will both be there. These are 2 pilots. And until we develop some other captains, we'll remain at the stead.
Okay. Next question. Is it okay to start promoting the RotaryReady.com website?
Please. So the whole purpose of that website, and just because you're in there, you're not guaranteed you're the next spot, let's say, wherever that is, we don't know. But we need to build that up, because when the vaccine becomes readily available, these campaigns that we're doing now, so from 10 to 15 may go to 30 to 40 pods, right? We need a lot of volunteers in the queue, and they do plan to go 7 days a week. So this is our pilots. We're getting ready to build up and support whatever distribution is available at whatever time it is.
Excellent. There is a question here, but I can answer that without you having to answer it. But someone says, are there opportunities in Lexington County area to volunteer? Folks, there are going to be multiple sites, multiple locations, multiple areas that will be added to the RotaryReady.com website. So if you're in an area, please sign up if you want to volunteer. And when an event is scheduled in your area, you will receive an email about volunteering. So there will be multiple sites, multiple areas. Stay tuned to the RotaryReady.com website. What vaccine are you administering today in Mount Pleasant?
It's the Pfizer vaccine. So the follow-up for today is February 12th. The same people, the same work crew, the same setup on February 12th.
Are people staying in their cars to get the vaccine?
Absolutely. That's why they drive under the tent. And that's why the smaller tent behind hosts the folks that are distributing, actually giving the vaccine. No one gets out of their car.
Next one is just a comment for everyone. I got a vaccine in Columbia on Monday from Prisma Health. They are trying to give 5,000 shots a day. I stayed in my car. Do all the recipients have appointments? Yes. The answer to that question is yes.
All of these, yes. They will all have appointments, yes.
And then what group of people are getting the vaccine?
The criteria is the same that is for any location that you're going to. The criteria is set by CDC. And so 70 and older and front-facing employees.
Yeah, this is great information, guys. If you're in an area in our district and you would like to volunteer, or someone in your club would like to volunteer, please have them sign up on RotaryReady.com. Even if you don't see an event listed there in your area, there will be events coming in your area. So I heard the call last night. Bill Cannon did a tremendous job. And what he said, guys, is if you want to volunteer, that's great. But you need to bring 4 people with you to sign up on RotaryReady.com. So the challenge is to really bring yourself and 4 people. As they said last night, we need an army. So if you're willing to volunteer, please sign up. I will say this. One thing I did learn last night is no volunteers are allowed under the age of 18. Am I correct? So if you have a son or daughter that would be willing to volunteer, they're not able to volunteer for this event. They're only vaccinating folks and volunteers over the age of 18. Any further questions, please post those in the chat box. Is there a link to the Zoom call posted somewhere? We have a recording. It will be posted on our district YouTube channel, and then that will be sent out. So stay tuned. That should be coming soon. What I will say is and the YouTube channel information for those is on the front page of DACDB if you don't know how to get to the YouTube channel. For those that missed the Zoom call last night, we're talking about the same things that were discussed last night. So you're getting almost the same information, just in a shortened, condensed version. So what you're hearing today was the same things that were discussed last night. We'll pause for a moment and see if we have any additional questions. Folks, please post those in the chat box. I call your attention to rotaryready.com. That's where your information source will be. Thank you, Mary Louise. If you're in a Rotary club, please get this information out to members of your club. How about if you're a president on this call, email all your members. I'm going to Rotary right after this, and this is going to be a hot topic and will be discussed during our meeting here in just a little bit. Someone is asking, can we see the list of volunteers to make sure we are on it? Is Mount Pleasant location to be every day starting with today? I don't believe so, but more dates for Mount Pleasant are going to be added if I am not mistaken. If you signed up to volunteer, you will receive a message confirming you're on the volunteer list. Key thing to remember, and I heard this over and over and over last night. If you sign up to volunteer, that doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to get a spot to volunteer. You're going to be contacted for volunteers in your area. So if you sign up for, let's say, Florence, and you go to the event on Florence, they're only going to take people that have been confirmed for that site. So you will receive email communication for that.
Did you get the answer you needed about, what was that question again? Yeah, Mount Pleasant isn't right away. Here's the thing, folks. We are doing 2 pilots. A pilot means it's a dry run for future events. So that's why we don't have many of the answers that you're seeking at this time. And eventually, you know, more information will be ready. But as I said earlier, we're registering people and Rotary ready for all our future events. And how we will go about it is they're going to be by area. So wherever your address is, if there's an event right in your town, we'll go to you first and see if you would like to work. And then we'll go after that. So you can volunteer any place, so it doesn't necessarily have to be in your community. But right now, we have 500 names, right, for statewide support. We need more volunteers. So know that all the news outlets, every government, CDC, and local, state are confirming that the vaccines will come full blast beginning after February. So these 2 pilots we're doing is getting us ready to gear up, know how we can be more efficient, how to utilize our volunteers, how many we will need at each site. And over the course of the next 6 weeks, we will have trained volunteers for the implosion of the vaccines.
Great information. I can answer the next question. Do you have to be a Rotarian to volunteer? The answer is no. Let's see here. this is a comment here. I just learned that Beaufort Memorial and MUSC have stopped using VAMS, which is the Vaccine Administration Management System. Pauline, our friend here, Rigby, has not received anything for Florence yet on Monday.
All right. So if you've registered, I think we spoke about this last night, this being our first pilot, we don't have a confirmation of the number of booths. We had a few numbers of people registered for Saturday. The first event was Saturday. So majority of the individuals had to be reached out to again to see if they could go to Monday. And then we need to backfill around that. I can tell you right now that there are no more openings for volunteers on Monday. So here's the other thing. There's about 10 people on the committee, and guess what they're doing? They're here. So nobody is working on Florence right now. You may not hear anything from us until Saturday or Sunday, once we have our follow-up meeting with MUSC and once we develop more details. Now, is this the way we're always going to operate? No, but it's because it's a pilot and we're trying to establish the best possible solutions and opportunities for volunteers, the vaccine recipients, and the staff. So hang on, you'll get something.
The next question about the MUSC and the My Chart site, I'm not sure that we have anybody that can answer that. Not really sure because we don't have a representative on here from MUSC, so I don't think we can answer that site.
Pauline might be able to answer it. Let Pauline take a shot at it.
What's the question? Something about a chart?
Yeah, since this is done with MUSC, are there appointments with the My Chart site?
No, there's a special link for these vaccines, which they release when they have the site set and the number of vaccines confirmed and the number of medical personnel that can work at that site. That's all I know.
And let me just step in here and clarify. Lou, if you're asking, can you get an appointment to get the vaccine through one of these Mount Pleasant or Florence, maybe you could go through My Chart and do that. But if you're asking, can you volunteer to work either one of these through My Chart, I would think the answer would be no. You have to go through the Rotary Ready site to volunteer.
Right, I understand. I was just curious, when people go to My Chart, previously when I went there and scheduled an appointment, I mean, basically they gave you a couple of different sites you could go to. And I was just curious if they have added the Mount Pleasant site or some other sites that we're volunteering right now for. That's all.
Kathy, your question is 21. Your answer is 21 days. So if you're getting a vaccine today in Mount Pleasant, you go back on February 12th for the second shot. Mary Louise did post some great information from SCEMD. So if you want to look at that, just take a look at the chat.
I do know about vaccines. If you've recently received a vaccine of any kind, this is my own personal experience. So for me, I was just got my second shingles vaccine, Shingrix, it's called, the second vaccine on Sunday. You have to be 2 weeks minimum from a vaccine of any kind in order to receive COVID vaccine, any of the vaccines. Also, if you've been on an antibiotic or any other form of treatment that it's called body, I forgot the term, I said it earlier, it's 19 days. So you really have to check if you'll be able to, so that you don't waste your time, be able to receive it. So I did not receive my volunteer vaccine today. And so I'll have to wait another week if I can get it. But anyway, hope that helps.
Yeah, great information discussed here this morning. I'll put a last call for questions. How about that? Last call for questions. As we're waiting for those to come in, we realize this is a very important topic, and we thank you for joining us this morning. For those of you that's your first CWRAP program, well, we do this 3 times a week for right now. In the month of February, we're going to Mondays only. So if you're a regular CWRAPper, Mondays only in February and beyond. Now, we might add an occasional one, not on a Monday, if we get a request for that. So keep an eye on your email. And as I do every Friday, let me get the speakers for next week. Bear with me a moment. All right, on Monday, the 25th, Colonel Lawrence Sullivan with the Shaw Air Force Base will be speaking with us on Monday at 11 o'clock. And then on Wednesday at noon, so Wednesday the 27th at noon, Attorney General for the state of South Carolina, Alan Wilson, talking about sex trafficking in South Carolina. Now, for Beth and those on here, we use the same Zoom ID on every one of the calls. So if for some odd reason you want to join us like Beth, you can just use that same meeting ID. We do that Mondays at 11 right now, Wednesdays at noon, and Fridays at 11. However, I will say next Friday, there is no CWRAP program because our wonderful district governors and the leadership team will be doing district governor interviews that day. So I guess this is our last Friday CWRAP for right now.
You have one more question, Donald.
Yep, the last question, here we go. Can you confirm that your 4 volunteer opportunities can you confirm that your 4 volunteer opportunities have to be at the same site?
Only if you're receiving the vaccine to volunteer.
Good point. To add to that, so if you receive the vaccine today in Mount Pleasant, you can't receive the second vaccine in an event in Florence. You have to receive it at an event in Mount Pleasant. And likewise, Florence has to go back.
I mean that may change for future, but the first 2, no. So the first 2, first shot and second shot in the same place. I don't know if it'll evolve after, but I think it's because of the limitation of the vaccine right now.
Great information, Pauline. Thanks for coming to us live from the site, showing us some behind the scenes. For those of you on here, again, thanks for joining us. Once again, RotaryReady.com is your informational source for all things on this wonderful event that our district and the district up in the upstate 7750 are doing. Beth, any closing comments from you?
No, thank you, other than allowing me to join. I do have a few questions, but they are more appropriate for just working with your team about how we will get information to our prospective volunteers in 7750. So.
Excellent. Maybe we could arrange a call or something at an off time, not on this, to discuss those questions with you.
Right. Thank you. And so thank you for having me today.
You're very welcome. We appreciate it. All right, folks, I'll conclude our Friday CWRAP with the Rotary 4-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a wonderful Friday and a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday at 11 for the next conversation with Rotary Action People. Take care, folks. That's a wrap. Bye-bye.